This calendar is moving very fast. What happened is there's a 6% cut that the governor put on the table to the legislature on last Thursday. He said, I'm not going to get some federal funds because we're overcharging the federal government for institutional services, and they don't want to pay it anymore. So I'm going to take the money out of the not-for-profits. Because, you know, what's the logic of that? But anyway, that's what they're doing. They said the not-for-profits across the board throughout the state who provide services to the disabled, we're cutting 6% of your budget off, right across the board. Because we need that, this is very, very serious. Not-for-profits run, you know, right on the bone. You know, we're not-for-profit. We don't make money. If we, God forbid, if we had surpluses, the government would come in and say, we're cutting your rates, which they did. They cut our rates in 2011 by 7.5%, $2.4 million. That was pretty hard. Now they're going to come back and want to hit us for another 6%. So we need to act. We could, you know, there are people in the legislature who are not that favorable about this, but the governor is a very powerful person. So we need to act. The assembly, which is Assemblyman Silver, who's the chairman or of the assembly, the head guy. He's from New York City. He's heard a lot from New York City people. So he's saying, well, I don't know if I can go along with this. So that's good, that's good. The people in the Senate, I had somebody talk to some senators last night and they said, well, we're not comfortable with this number, but they didn't say they're gonna not have a cut. So we have to keep the best thing we could do, and we've done this in the past, and I've had a lot of guidance over the years, is that they need to hear from their constituents. That really counts. In the end of the day, they need your vote, or they don't want you to be mad at them. If they vote against something that their constituents want, that's a wedge issue they don't want to lose you on. If they get you if they support your wedge issue, do not cut services to the disabled, and they go, I voted against that, they assume you and people in your family are going to vote them back. So they got to feel, here's this issue, there's always a lot of issues. How many letters did I get? How much interest is in this issue? If there's a lot of interest, and that means we have to, you know, really make an effort. We have a letter that we want you to sign, and, you know, people in your family and et cetera, et cetera. We have a letter that's going to be made out in your name to your assemblyman and your senator, which you could sign, and then we're going to collect them and know that we got them to them in big batches. If they got a lot of letters, you could do this through email, but they oftentimes when you write people an email, they go, thank you for emailing me, I'll get to it later. When Kim invites people to an event for us, they don't see it through email. We really need to talk to them or write them. They respond to letters. So we want to, you know, we want to do that. We want to do the letters, and everyone's going to have a letter that's going to be with your paycheck on Friday for your assemblyman and senator, and or if you don't, or it'll go to your house, and with a return stamp address return envelope, because we really want to have a big impact. We're also sending this same material to the families. We have their zip codes, so they're going to get that. To Bonnie Answer's working with our list of friends, contributors, and the families really count a lot. Okay, so there's this letter phase. We got to get a lot of letters. And Joe Morelli also set up that there's a letter online that that people could fill out, and then, so we want you to go beyond yourself, family members, friends, and that letter could also get in this pile of letters, okay? And cover letter from me, there's going to be a few things. The cover letter, on the back side of the cover letter is what you could say on a phone call. And then there's going to be the letter, which you would sign, and there's going to be a list of phone numbers of assemblymen and senators, which you'll need. This thing is moving very fast, so we can't wait for the letters. We have to make the phone calls, but also do the letters. Because by the end of next week, it's possible that each house, the Senate and Assembly, will have their one-house budgets. And we want that one-house budget to take this item out. So when they negotiate with the governor, they go, well, we're not putting that in our budget. Because they'll negotiate the 3 men in the room that you've heard about in the news. That's what that is. The guy Silver, and then people in the Senate and the governor, they all sit around. Here's my budget, here's my budget, here's my budget. And they start doing horse trading. Well, we know what the governor's budget says. It says, cut these guys by 6% across the board. That's his budget. So the Assembly, we have to have the Assembly and the Senate members go, hey, I'm hearing from my constituents, I am not putting my name on this thing, no way. We want to buzz in their conferences. The Assembly and the Senate, the Republicans caucus among themselves, the Democrats caucus, and if they go, man, I'm getting all this negative vibes on this, I'm not voting for this thing, forget it. That's what we want to have, that kind of buzz. You know, they gotta get crashed. They gotta have the phone calls, the letters. You know, if we do emails to their websites, fine. It won't count as much, believe me. We also, so we're gonna have this packet that we really need you to do. To the letter and the phone call. Okay? You're not going to be able to get them on the weekends, so Monday through Friday. Okay? And you could put this on Facebook, your Facebook. We're going to put it on our Facebook, and you could like it or you could post it to your Facebook. So we get more going that way. Okay? Because this is important. Or LinkedIn. Here's this letter, please help us out, sign it or whatever. Try to make it easy as possible. And we're going to share this with all the other agencies. They're doing things also. Okay? We're not alone in this. We're really united. People unite around a crisis. I think on moveon.org you could have a petition. People could sign up for the petition. That's another thing, you know, if somebody is really onto this and could help us out, let me do that, I could help with that. That's important. We need boots on the ground, we need people with comfort in the, you know, the social media world to get our knowledge up. Frank and Michelle are going to put together, they're going to start calling legislators for the meetings, and then we'll ink it in with people who want to go to the meetings. Most important person at that meeting is a family member. Somebody who's really affected directly. A staff person or me, okay to fill the room, but they'll go, well, you're just trying to keep your job. So, you know, you know, you may know a legislator well. He's my neighbor, he's my friend. Then you're good. But if you know a legislator, we want to know it. Let Frank know, or Kim know, or me know. Go, I know this person. They're my neighbor. Or they go to my church, or I really hung out with their kids, or them. That's important. to do that. So we want to reach out to all the people we can, the families, the friends, yourselves, the people you know. The more letters, the more phone calls, that really counts. You could feel, well, I don't really count, but remember Cecilia Tasik, she won that election by 16 votes. Every one of these legislators, the one thing they want to do is get reelected. And if they see you're a wedge issue voter, this is going to make you happy, you'll vote for me. If I don't give you this, you're going to be unhappy and vote against me. Same thing. So maybe quickly from the tenor of meeting, there was a mental hygiene budget meeting yesterday that Michelle and Frank went with some of the consumers. Maybe you can tell us quickly about that. And we're going to be at the legislature. If you have time,
yeah,
to go down with these guys.
Yeah, I'm going to let Michelle speak a little bit about that. But first thing I want to say is I want to echo what Fred's saying. Now is the time. If you guys have friends, relatives, family members, anybody that you can say, hey, can you do me a favor? Now is the time. Get those folks to make calls, send out letters, email.
Yesterday, and it was very moving. There was a sea of white. Everybody was encouraged to wear white shirts to show support that we don't want this cut to go through. So when I entered, it was a sea of white throughout the audience, and that really made a huge presence. You could feel the energy in the room. There were people in wheelchairs. Everybody was there and supporting this cut not to happen. A few people brought up some great points that I would love to share. They talked about these people being the people with no voices. These people also referring to themselves as the most fragile population. And this is where this cut is going to greatly affect everybody. We went and visited an assemblyman during the break, and the assemblyman did not even know that this was on the agenda, that this cut was even going to happen. They don't have any studies. There's no stats to this. So we need to have them understand this is going to greatly affect and rip away care from all the people that we're here to help. And it's going to hurt them at the end of the day.
And there's a letter. In the letter, it is going to be, what do you say? Okay. Here's something you can, on a phone. You're going to have a letter to send, but there's going to be on the back page of my cover letter is going to be what you could say on a call. No magic to it. My name is Fred Erlich. I live at such and such an address in your district. I am calling today to urge you to oppose the 6% cut to OPWD service proposed by the governor for next year. OPWD services are not luxuries. They are essential service that people rely upon every day of their lives and are critical to ensuring the health and safety of people with developmental disabilities. You don't have to say any more. It's all going to be written down. But the calls and people you know who call, good intentions aren't going to work here. At the end of the day, it's going to be how many people actually made the effort. The visits are a little more tricky, and that's why I think we should coordinate it. But I think the calls and the letters are really important. And so I'm asking you to please do this and help us to get the word out online, and Joe put a good letter together which you could then have people just put their address and they'll put the name of the person, and you could do a signature, right? Boom, done. Calls, letters, visits. Okay? Thank you. So let's go.